All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're digging into the world of PMOs, the Program Management Office.
Ah, yes. PMOs, always a fascinating area.
We've got some documents here. Looks like the Program Support Center.
PSC?
Yeah, PSC, sorry. Part of Health and Human Services?
HHS.
HHS, right. They're looking for help. Seems like they need a whole PMO built.
Well, that's not uncommon. Big organizations, lots of moving parts. A PMO can really,
Bring some order.
Exactly, bring some order.
And we've got two main documents here. Looks like a draft statement of work.
The SOW, crucial for understanding the scope.
Yep, and a sources sought notice.
Okay.
So we can get a feel for what they're looking for in a partner. But before we dive into all that, I think it helps to understand the PSC itself.
Absolutely. Think of them as a giant internal support system for HHS and other agencies.
Okay, so what do they actually do?
Well, it's a wide range, finances, real estate, even occupational health stuff. They even provide support to other federal agencies.
Oh, so it's pretty comprehensive.
Very much so. Keeps the government humming behind the scenes.
Essential then. But why the PMO?
This sources sought document, it's interesting. They're aiming to improve, mission performance, business execution, and operations management.
That's a pretty broad scope.
Right. Suggests a need for better organization, coordination, accountability. A PMO can really address those issues.
So this PMO isn't just a small tweak. They're looking for a significant change.
Oh, absolutely. This is about the PSC stepping up its game.
Okay, well, let's get into the details. That draft SOW you mentioned, what does that tell us about how this PMO is supposed to function?
Well, one of the first things that jumps out is workforce strategy development. This PMO won't just manage projects, they'll analyze the whole workforce.
Like all the PSC employees?
It seems so. They're going to be identifying skills gaps, figuring out staffing needs, even working on recruitment and retention.
Wow, so they're really taking a deep dive into the human resources side of things.
It's crucial, especially in an organization as large and complex as the PSC.
Makes sense. Anything else that stands out in the SOW?
Oh, yeah. This service catalog modernization thing, it's big.
What's that all about?
Imagine a menu, but for every service the PSC provides. That's what they're aiming for.
A menu for the PSC, huh? Interesting.
Each service with a clear description, cost, contact info. It's all about making things clear and accessible.
A big upgrade for customer interaction, then.
Huge. Transparency and efficiency, all in one.
Okay, that's workforce and services. What about their day-to-day work? The actual operations.
Right, well, there's this section, assessment and enhancement of standard operating procedures. So basically, they're going to look at all the SOPs.
How-to guides, the processes.
Exactly. They'll analyze, update, maybe even create new ones from scratch. Streamlining workflows, eliminating redundancy.
So it's like giving the PSC a makeover from the inside out.
Exactly. A much-needed one, it seems.
And the PMO will be leading this charge.
Oh, yeah. They're not just consultants. They're hands-on. There's a section on program management support and emerging strategic activities. They'll manage projects, assess risks.
Keep everything on track.
Exactly. They're the go-to team. And on top of that, they handle communication strategy, internal and external, incorporating the PSC brand for messaging.
Wow. So they really are at the heart of it all.
Yeah, pretty much. They're shaping how the PSC interacts with the world. Then there's this section on executive secretariat and audit response management, dealing with sensitive information.
Like what?
Congressional correspondence, audit response procedures, high-level support for the director's office, the whole 9 yards.
So think tanks, briefings, keeping everything in line.
It seems so. A pretty powerful position.
This PMO is shaping up to be quite something.
It is. And we can't forget about the service desk revolution they're planning.
Service desk? What, like a help desk?
Right, but they're going all in. Analyzing surveys, defining data elements, developing a whole new architecture for it.
Overhauling the whole system.
Yep. They'll define metrics, track performance. It's all about making sure the service desk works efficiently for everyone.
So they're not messing around. They want this PMO to touch every part of the PSC.
It's ambitious, which is probably why they're looking for outside help.
Yeah, this is a big job. They need a team with serious experience and a proven track record, especially in a government setting.
Definitely. And that's where the sources sought notice comes in.
Right, their help wanted ad. This should tell us what the PSC is looking for in a potential partner.
Exactly. Let's see what they're hoping to find. Right off the bat, they want someone who really gets the PSC. Their mission, their challenges.
It's not just about having PMO experience. It's about understanding the PSC's specific context.
Yeah, like they say here, demonstrated experience working with organizations similar to the PSC,
Oh, okay.
providing solutions specifically tailored to address.
So they want a tailored approach, not just some off-the-shelf PMO solution.
Right. And look, they're really interested in experience within government or healthcare.
Makes sense, given the PSC's role.
Exactly. See, they're asking for details on past projects, like from the last 5 years.
Oh, so they can see a track record?
Yep, contract value, time frame, all that. They want to make sure you can deliver. And it's not just about the company as a whole. They're interested in specific individuals, too.
So the actual team who'd be working on this.
Right. Expertise, availability, qualifications, the whole 9 yards. You need a strong team for a project like this.
Definitely. A lot of moving parts. And speaking of moving parts, what about communication? That's got to be crucial.
Oh, yeah, big time. They emphasize effective communication with all stakeholders.
So keeping everyone informed.
More than that, they talk about developing communication strategies, incorporating PSC branding, all that.
So it's strategic, not just tactical.
Exactly. They want someone who can shape the message, present a unified front.
Okay, so experience, communication,
Mhm.
anything else they're looking for.
Innovation. They want to see fresh ideas, creative solutions. They even specifically say innovative ideas or concepts.
So they don't want someone to just copy what's been done before.
Right. They want a partner who can think outside the box, push the boundaries a bit, find new and better ways of doing things.
I like that. Always good to see that kind of forward thinking. Now, this notice mentions something about government-wide acquisition contract, or GWC, General Services Administration, or GSA, or other procurement vehicles. What's all that about?
Oh, those are just ways the government streamlines contracting, makes things more efficient.
So it's about speed and simplicity.
Yep, and those are crucial when you're dealing with a project this important.
Okay, makes sense. Now, we can't talk about government contracting without mentioning compliance.
Right,
Right.
you're right. It's a big deal. They're very clear about that in the notice.
Now, what kind of things do they highlight?
Well, obviously, you need to be registered in SAM.gov, have all your documentation in order.
The paperwork essentials.
Right, UEI number, cage code, all that good stuff.
And I see they want information about the bidder's business size.
Yep. That's important for determining eligibility for certain programs, if they qualify as a small business or some other category.
Right, so it's about fairness and opportunity, too.
Exactly. They want to make sure everyone has a fair shot. And then there's the past performance stuff.
Ah, yeah. How have they performed on similar projects before?
Right. They're asking for questionnaires, CPRR's reports, anything that shows how they've actually delivered.
Makes sense. Past performance is a pretty good indicator of future success.
Exactly. So if you're bidding on this, make sure you've got those glowing reviews ready.
Definitely. Now, this source of sought notice, it gives us a lot of information, but it's just the first step, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is them gathering information, seeing who's out there, what they can offer.
So they can figure out the best way to move forward.
Exactly. Could be a formal RFP, could be something else. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so a lot can still change. But one thing that really strikes me about this notice is the emphasis on transparency.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think they want to make it clear that this is a fair process. Everyone has access to the same information, same opportunity.
A level playing field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it builds trust. Shows they're committed to finding the best partner, not just the one with the best connections.
Integrity in government contracting. I like it. So they're not just putting out a request, they're making a statement.
Exactly. They even say if someone has a question about the document, they'll post both the question and the answer on sam.gov.
Wow, so everyone benefits.
Yep, complete transparency. Now, stepping back a bit, what do you think this PMO tells us about the PSC's future direction?
That's a good question. I mean, it seems like they're really trying to up their game.
Right. I think it shows they're serious about becoming more efficient, more effective, maybe even expanding their role.
So not just maintaining, but growing.
Exactly. They're not content with the status quo. They want to be a leader, setting an example for other agencies.
That's ambitious,
Yeah.
but also pretty exciting. It shows that even in a massive system like the government, things can change.
They can. And this PMO is a sign that the PSC is ready to embrace that change.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The PSC, the PMO, what they're looking for in a partner. What's the key takeaway for our listener?
For me, it's about the potential ripple effect. This PMO, it's not just about the PSC itself.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. If they improve their operations, become more efficient, more effective, That impacts how they interact with other agencies, how they deliver services. Ultimately, it affects how they contribute to the overall mission of HHS.
So it's like a chain reaction.
Exactly. It starts with the PSC, but the impact spreads outward. And who knows, maybe it even inspires other agencies to follow suit.
That's a powerful thought. So this PMO, it's a sign of things to come, a new way of doing business in government.
Maybe so. It's definitely a step in the right direction.
So we've really dug into this PMO, what it will do, how they'll find the right people to build it. But I want to zoom out a little. What does this whole thing tell us about government operations these days? The big picture.
Yeah, good point. I think this PMO, it kind of reflects a bigger shift we're seeing across a lot of agencies, actually, like a move towards, data-driven decisions, making sure things are actually working and being able to adapt quickly.
Okay, so more than just the PSC doing this, like
Yeah.
a new way of working for everyone.
Exactly. The old ways, the bureaucratic structures, they don't always work so well anymore, especially with everything changing so fast.
Right, the world moves pretty fast these days.
It does. So agencies are realizing they got to evolve. And PMOs, they offer like a framework, for managing all the complex stuff, coordinating everything, and making sure you're actually making progress.
So it's not just about process for the sake of process. It's about getting results.
Exactly. It's got to be strategic, purposeful. Okay, you mentioned adapting quickly. What are some of the challenges that are, forcing agencies to be more agile?
Well, technology is changing constantly. I feel like there's a new iPhone every week.
Right. And then you've got cybersecurity threats. That's always evolving. And people, they expect government services to be easy to use and fast.
Makes sense. So the PSC wants a PMO to help them navigate all that. It seems like they're ahead of the curve.
They might be. And for people working with the government, like contractors, consultants, even employees, what does this mean for them? What do they need to know? Project management skills are becoming essential. You got to understand data analysis, how to measure performance. It's like the new language of government.
Data is king. So if you want to work with the government, got to be fluent in data, project management, performance. This PMO, with its focus on workforce, modernizing that service catalog, the data-driven service desk, is this the future? Will we see more of this?
Oh, absolutely. I think this PMO, it's a preview of what's coming, more emphasis on using data to do everything better, make things transparent, and making sure the government actually responds to what people need.
So a future where government is more efficient, more agile, more focused on people?
Exactly. And remember, government, it's not just some big machine, it's people working to make things better. PMOs, when they're done right, they help those people do their best work, make a real difference.
It's about making things better for everyone, really. We've covered a lot today, all the details of this PMO, what it means for the PSC, even what it says about the bigger trends in government. But before we wrap up, any final thoughts for our listeners? Something to take away from all this?
Even small things like this PMO, they can have a big impact. It reminds us that change is possible even in something as big and complex as government. And by focusing on efficiency, data, collaboration, we can build a government that's more responsive, more effective.
Well said. We've taken our listeners deep into this PMO, shown them what it's all about. Hopefully, they not only learn something, but are also thinking differently about how government works, maybe even how they could be a part of it.
Yeah, maybe this sparks an interest in government contracting. Lots of talented people out there who could make a real difference.
Absolutely. Well, it's been another fascinating deep dive. We've given our listeners the knowledge, the insights. Now it's up to them to see where it leads. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep making a difference.